Would you? Hey, Jeremy.
Hi.
Why
Oliver.
don't you? Do you want to do a podcast?
That sounds like a novel idea. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's do. Do you want to do a podcast?
I'm into it.
All right.
What do you want to talk about on our first episode of the podcast that we're going to record right now?
How would you start the podcast if you had to start a podcast, Jeremy, and it was a podcast like this one? Mm-hmm. How would you start the show?
Well, I gotta be honest. The way we've been doing it, like what we've been saying right now to each other, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I guess this could this is just the content of the podcast. At what point does the cold open become just the regular podcast?
Right now, because I'm over it. I'm over this bit. God damn it, hello.
God damn it, hello.
But just as an aside, cold open is great and everything. But what sets it apart? Why is it different than the conversation? How long could you do a cold open?
Okay, we have like 75 movies to talk about.
Yeah, okay. So
I think we should really get to it.
Chat with me, guys. This is the only time I get to speak.
No, it's not. You talk my fucking ear off all day.
Hey,
right.
Oliver is talking much more to the mic than Brittany is. I don't want to No, because Oliver's like the mic's like here, and Oliver's like, yeah, blah 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 blah, which is more than I can get him.
I can't control that he wants to make love to the microphone.
I know, but I can't get him to talk into the microphone when he needs to. He only does it when it's inconvenient to you, and it makes me so mad.
Huh? I don't know what you mean.
Because he needs to assert his dominance over me. That's why. Because he has none.
So today
That's
we're
why I
going to
don't
be
get to
making
talk.
another list for our 20th episode.
Welcome to episode 20. We made it here without even one kiss on the lip. CJ,
Oh, God.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Stop the show. They kissed.
Like Venom.
I don't
Like
know this
Venom.
man.
So, for episode 20, since on episode 10 we made a list, now we'll make one for episode 20 as well.
Because that's how we do things.
And this is a very similar list. Last time we did the top 10 movies of the decade, but then I thought, let's take it one step further.
Mm-hmm.
Every year has a best movie. Mm-hmm. So why not take all of the years you've been alive and say what the best movie was of every single one?
Right. Now,
All
best
right.
is subjective because I took it as like my favorite movie of
That is
the
what
year.
it is.
Right.
But it's only one. That's the important
right.
thing.
Yeah, I tried.
You got to narrow it down. Here's the game.
Now, am I allowed to give an honorable mention for a year I thought was difficult?
You can give a honorable mention, but you have
A
to
honorable
assertively
mention?
say, this is my pick for
Yeah.
this year.
A honorable mention? Okay, I gotta go back to the drawing board for one of those years.
We got to start over. God damn it. Hello.
Wait, really?
Welcome to the show.
Really
no,
starting
we don't
over?
actually start over. I'm fucking
killing me,
with you.
dude. I also want to point out movies. I only really have two, but I want to point out notable movies for this podcast when
Sure.
we get there.
Sure.
And when
Yeah,
they came
if you
out.
have a movie that you feel is noteworthy, you can say it. It just can't be the official pick.
Hell yeah.
This is
It's-
this is an incredibly hard task.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and there are
it's
certain,
hard. It's hard because some years there's a lot of movies you
I
like,
was
and
just
some
gonna
years
literally just gonna say
well,
that.
say nothing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's just there are some years that you have like 5 movies that you could easily say are the best or your favorite or whatever, and then there are years like
11.
Nope.
5.
2014.
14.
That
That
one, too.
or 2015. They're just like, the fuck? Like, what? Yeah, I like these movies. Are they the best movies ever made? Probably not.
Well, not every year is going to have a best
No.
movie ever made.
I also, this is me, and I hate when people add restrictions to their favorite things. So it's like, I don't know, that's your favorite. You can say whatever you want.
Right.
I really didn't want to have more than one movie from a series be on this list, and that's just me. So anyway,
That's fair, because I feel like
it's like I don't need to sit here
There's
and be like
definitely a
Spider-Man 1
highlight.
and 2 and 3.
I put a restriction on myself in that way as well. There's only one Spider-Man movie on my list.
Well, I didn't give a fuck about your restrictions, and I just picked the movies that I liked.
Yeah,
that's
you probably did it the
right,
most-
And that's-
is an American.
You probably did it the most pure way, but like to me, it's like I'm telling you what movies I like, and it just feels like we're not getting anywhere when I'm telling you the same 3 movies. You know?
I didn't consciously do that. It just kind of shook out that way because there is only one Spider-Man movie that I consider to be in the top 10 best of all time.
That's not even the list that we're making. Anyway, let's. We got so many fucking movies to go in, and we got so much.
And I have 7 to go through.
I'm already
before we even get
stressed,
to
kids.
you.
Let's go.
All right, so I'm going to start because I was born in 1990, so I'm going to run from 1990 to 1997 without you guys, because you were not alive at that time, and I am old. So here we go. 1990 was the year that I was born. I was born in November, but I didn't go like that strict on it. I just went by the year, and I picked Mermaids.
What's the worst weather in the world? Oh, now don't tell me. Let me guess. Who could it be? Could it be me?
If you don't know this movie, it is starring Cher, Winona Ryder,
Steve Madden.
Winona Ryder, and Christina Ricci. I can't fucking speak today. I'm done. Okay. Anyway, Cher is in it, and she's the best, and it's a great movie. That's
also referenced in
1990.
the best of 2018 list, and you actually said Cher's in the movie.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Cher is in the movie. That's what you're getting from me. I love Cher. She's my icon. I wish I could
On to the next one.
pick it anyway. 91.
90.
Beauty and the Beast.
Think of the one thing you've always wanted. Now find it in your mind's eye and feel it in your heart.
Obviously.
Decent pick, yeah.
Yep. I don't need to say anything else. 92. A League of Their Own.
You're still missing the cutoff man. Now, that's something that I would like you to work on before next season.
Now, not only is that the best movie of 1992, probably one of my favorite movies of all time. If you know, we're getting there. 93, I have 2, but I guess I'll just say 1 since that's what we're doing. I will do my number 1 pick, which was Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, first here's a woman. I'm getting hot flashes.
And Mrs. Doubtfire is just a classic. How do you not love it? Well, that was my second one.
What's the honorable mention?
You can say what the honorable mention
No, because I don't want that to be my only one. You said I only get 1.
of
No,
the year?
one for each
One
year.
per year. One per
Oh,
year. You just
one per
can't
year.
say, here's
Oh.
10 movies
Oh.
I like, and these are all
Okay.
the honorable mentions.
All right, so the honorable mention for 93 is obviously Jurassic Park, because it's fucking Jurassic Park.
Right.
Sure, yeah.
Right. It's a great book, too. Anyway. 94,
Hell yeah.
yeah. 94 is The Lion King. Again, that also feels pretty obvious to me. 95, I have 3, but I'll just say 2. I don't know which 2 to say.
Gotta pick.
All right, Toy Story.
To infinity and beyond.
Walt Disney Pictures presents the first ever computer animated motion picture.
And Jumanji.
I can see what the third one is, and there's really no competition. The other 2 are
I know.
very universal.
I know. I agree. 96 is my favorite movie of all time. So we'll just say 1996 is The Birdcage.
Something about the father and Mrs. Coleman. I can't put my finger on
It's
it.
nothing.
What do you mean?
It's nothing.
It is
Dad,
something.
It's nothing.
I didn't
Amazing
realize
We
what?
can talk about this because it's your favorite movie.
It's my favorite movie of all time. I didn't realize when I made this list how many Robin Williams movies I had on here, but that's where we're at. The Birdcage is my absolute favorite movie of all time. If you know me, you know that. I've made other people love this movie with how much I love it. It's genuinely just a feel-good movie. Yes, it's just a feel-good movie. It's very funny. It's very witty. It's very smart. Nathan Lane and Robin Williams are incredible side by side. If you like gay men, even if you don't like gay men, it's a great movie. It's a movie about family, and you just wouldn't think that.
Well,
and
I would
it's
also
beautiful.
point out living in an age where there's all these, pro-gay, very forward-thinking. This is way before that, and it's very forward-thinkingly pro-gay, but you don't have to watch it through that lens.
No, and the thing is, it's not trying to convince you that you have to be pro-gay. Like, it doesn't have an agenda.
Well, because there shouldn't be an agenda. Gay people.
I
are
agree.
People,
I
and
agree. But you just love the characters because of who they are and how they portray themselves. And I think that it's wonderful and it's funny and it's
And
endearing.
when Robin Williams teaches Nathan Lane how to act like a
Yes.
man, that is one of the best scenes I think in comedy.
cinema.
Period. No, like in comedy, you know, like there's other great scenes like when he's dancing, he's flossing, you know. But when he's teaching Nathan Lane, like especially when it's how to walk and how subtly Nathan Lane is able to do that, it plays because Robin Williams is so loud, but Nathan Lane is able to like dial it back and be like very subtle and like look just kind of uncomfortable.
Not to mention, this will be my last note. Nathan Lane in this movie has the same wardrobe as my grandmother. And he kind of looks like her because she has very short hair. So I think growing up watching that movie, because I did literally grew up watching this movie. I think growing up watching this movie, I really identified and loved him for that because he just reminded me of my grandma. So there we go. That's The Birdcage. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's a fucking phenomenal movie.
Also, fun fact real quick. Gene Hackman does a Richard Nixon reference.
Yes, he does.
Because Gene Hackman was on Richard Nixon's list of known enemies.
Ah, that's cool. Anyway, 97, which is my last year flying solo here. I have Selena.
Como La Flor from Selena y Los Dinos, which has just skyrocketed to the #1 spot.
Which, again, I think is one of the best movies, best biopic that's ever been made, in my opinion. And then my honorable mention for that year, just because I love this movie so much, is Vegas Vacation. It's the only vacation movie that I like, and I am not afraid to say that.
You like regular vacation?
Nope. I like Vegas Vacation the best, and that's that.
Well, I like Vegas Vacation the best too, but I still like Vacation.
Anyway, now we're on to 1998.
And in
Why don't we give Brittany a break?
What happened in 98 was that I was born, and then Jeremy was born.
And then I turned
The doctor
8.
said, wow, I hope this kid kisses this other kid that I delivered earlier.
No,
this year."
Oliver was born, and then Jeremy was born, and then the doctor said, "We're good. We can
Wow,
stop."
I delivered 2 kids. Now I quit.
I'm retiring.
I've done nothing else in my medical career.
That's why you haven't seen any children around anymore,
There you go,
because they
there's no-
decided after us to stop. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like
It
we
sounds
si-
like the plot of The Handmaid's Tale to me, but we can keep going.
anyway.
A lot of The Handmaid's Tale is that Jeremy and I are born and
Yep.
spend the rest of our lives debating which movie belongs on a
All
list
right,
on a podcast
let's
for
get
10
started.
people.
You guys, 1998.
All right,
What's your first
in
pick?
1998, I had an honorable mention just because I think it's one of the most powerful movies I've ever seen, but it doesn't hold up because The Big Lebowski came out in 1998.
I'm the dude. You know, that or his dudeness or Duder or, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
And that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm not alone in saying that. I almost feel like it's redundant to even talk about it because any hipster will tell you why this is the best movie of fucking all time. I'll just say I really like The Big Lebowski and identify with Jeff Bridges and Philip Seymour Hoffman when he is briefly in the movie. The follow-up, the honorable mention, was American History X. I don't think I've seen a movie as draining ever in my whole life. So that's the honorable mention. But it's not a fun movie.
Jeremy.
2 movies I haven't seen. I picked Mulan.
The greatest gift and honor is having you for a daughter.
I like animated movies a lot. And Mulan, hey, that's pretty good.
I picked The Wedding Singer.
I woke up this morning and I realized I'm about to marry a wedding singer.
Once again, things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday!
Because that is one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies of all time. It's the first one with him and Drew Barrymore, and they've been in 3 movies together now. And it's fun and goofy and has good music in it, and I love that movie.
Good stuff.
I just sounded like Declan, and I love it.
1999, my favorite animated film of all time came out. The Iron Giant.
We gotta show them you're good. You are what you choose to be.
I'm Superman.
It's straight up delightful. He eats trucks. It's great. He's Superman. Also, as a side note, Fight Club, another one of the top 10 best films of all time, came out in the same year. So that's what you got. Fight Club is, however, the honorable mention. The Iron Giant reigns supreme.
I put Unbreakable as my favorite one from this year.
There are 2 reasons why I'm looking at you like this.
one, because it seems you are the only survivor of this train wreck. And two, you don't have a scratch on you.
That was close to third.
Yeah, that, just like, yeah, I really like that movie. It's, no, oh my god, that's 2000. I'm looking at the wrong year. I put Matrix as my favorite.
What is happening to me?
The answer is up there, Neo. It's the question that drives us.
You fucked up.
I fucked up. Can we start over?
The tax is one kiss.
No. Okay, Matrix is my favorite of the year, and I'm gonna cede to Brittany so I don't embarrass myself again.
All right. Anyway, 1999, not 2000.
I just got so mad at Oliver that I lost all sense of what we were doing.
1999. I picked The Mummy.
Are we going into battle?
There's something out there. Something underneath that sand.
It is to this day probably one of my favorite action movies. I'm not a big action movie gal, but I love The Mummy.
You guys want to hear something dumb?
We're never gonna make it through this.
Before I saw The Mummy, I thought Frasier was the star of the movie. Anyway, on to the next one. 2000.
I've been to the year 2000.
In 2000, my favorite Philip Seymour Hoffman movie came out, and that was Almost Famous.
Rock stars have kidnapped my son.
I am a golden god!
I absolutely adore everything about this movie, and the phone scene when he talks to Philip Seymour Hoffman at the end of the movie to console him is one of my favorite movie scenes of all time. I actually remade it using only mannequins, and that's still up on the YouTube channel.
Sweet.
For the year 2000, I put Unbreakable, and you already knew that. But what you didn't know is that I put Emperor's New Groove as an honorable mention. We can move on now.
Fun fact, I've never seen Emperor's New Groove, and I don't
delight.
have a desire to.
That's okay. For 2000, I picked How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Maybe if you can reunite with the Who's and be a part of Christmas.
Maybe if you can reunite with the Who's and be a part of Christmas. Grow up!
Which is the Jim Carrey version. I will watch that movie at any point in time. I love it. I don't care that it's a Christmas movie. It's really not that Christmassy. It's just a great movie.
Also, really expensive movie to make if you didn't know.
We visited the set.
And for however people feel about it, it's the filmmaking that's there really and I don't think Ron Howard knocks it out of the park every time he makes a movie, but I think that the effort is always there, and the artistry behind trying to bring to life the fucking illustrations in a Dr. Seuss book, that's not an easy task, especially for the year 2000.
I think they did a great job.
Yeah, I agree. I have fun with this movie. I know not everybody likes it, but I do.
I like all the practical effects versus,
I agree.
Making this list and also listening to your guys' lists make me realize how little movies I've seen.
You can never cover the whole ground, and it's
You're also
frustrating in a way.
Jewish, so I don't blame you for not having seen How the Grinch Stole Christmas. 2001.
2001. I have Monsters, Inc. I think
Good
Monsters,
pick.
Inc. is the best film of 2001.
Don't say your honorable mention because it is my
honorable
favorite.
mention was already a pick, but I'll say other than Toy Story, it remains the best Pixar movie.
I actually want to cede saying what my pick is to Brittany because I believe we have the same pick because I watched this movie recently and it was really good.
Oh, you just watched it?
I watched this movie pretty recently. It's really good, and I think that Brittany should say it because it's one of her favorite movies of all time.
It is my second favorite movie of all time. It is Ocean's 11.
When was the last time you were in Vegas? You want to knock over a casino? 3 casinos?
And it's a fucking fabulous
my honorable
movie.
mention as well.
Yeah, a Monsters Inc. would have been my honorable mention. So it
good, man.
Ocean's 11, man. That was
good stuff. Did I not tell you I saw it?
No!
I'm sorry.
It's fine. That's one of the movies that you can watch over and over and over and over again, and you will find something new every time you watch it. You will notice something new. I'm not even kidding, because I've seen it so many times, and I notice something new every time I watch it. Not only that, the acting is just so fucking good, and it's so backhandedly funny without being slapstick in your face funny. Like the fact that when Yen talks, he always only speaks in Chinese. They never subtitle it, and everybody just understands him and speaks back to him. That's like one of my favorite running jokes that they do in the entire series. Oh, such a good movie.
Fucking R.I.P. What's his name? Carl Reiner.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I'll throw. I love this is a movie that knew how to take an all-star cast in an ensemble. And not be weighed down by the fact that it was an ensemble cast.
And rest in peace, Bernie Mac, which is why they said they'd never make another one.
Yeah, I know I love Bernie, but Carl just died.
Yeah, no.
But I'm just saying, when you have that many actors, a lot of lesser directors wouldn't be able to figure out who to give the screen time to. You don't see Matt Damon until 30 minutes into this movie.
No, and it's great.
Right, yeah.
You know,
and he has such a small
he's a surprise
role.
when he
yeah.
shows up too.
And he has a very small role, like not a small role.
Well, they made him bigger than the others, but
the thing is that it's an ensemble cast and it's 11 guys, so everybody has a small role. Like,
right.
Right. Yeah.
And and Julia Roberts, she was great too. Anyway,
that's one of the all-time best too.
Oh yeah, agreed.
So good.
All right,
Glad
2002.
2002, I have a movie that is the best film from both lead actors in their entire catalog.
Oh,
and
we have the same movie.
Catch Me If You Can.
What do you want?
To apologize.
You didn't call to apologize, did you? You have no one else to call.
Is the best Tom Hanks movie.
Yep.
And you know what else is the best Leonardo DiCaprio movie too?
Correct.
I love a good chase movie, but I think this is like the end-all, be-all chase movie because of how many mind games take place in this thing, but how much fucking fun it is and how you're rooting kind of for both guys in a way. Like, you don't want Tom Hanks to catch him, but also you kind of do because you also really like Tom Hanks. You know, even though he's the villain, and I'm not saying like you can twist the movie in another kind of way.
He's not the villain. He's the law.
Right, but
he was trying to stop a con man
right.
from stealing millions of dollars.
This is one of the first movies that I saw in my lifetime where I'm like, oh, the relationship between those two is what makes that work. And I'm recognizing that at a really young age.
Mm-hmm.
Because the movie lives and dies with Tom Hanks's interest in Leonardo DiCaprio and how it makes it all work.
Right.
And I think at the end of the movie, it makes it a much stronger piece. Also, Christopher Walken gives a great performance in this thing, too, and you really feel for him.
Yeah. And I just like that it's based on a true story as well, and that Frank, who is played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and, oh, my God, what is Tom Hanks's name in the movie? Anyway, they become friends in real life, and Frank Abagnale Jr. ends up working for the FBI. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Not my pick.
Carl Hanratty. Sorry, that's his name.
Not my pick. I have much more of an emotional attachment to. I put. Oh no, I hadn't picked which one yet. I put Treasure Planet.
It's Treasure Planet.
This movie flopped, and that sucks because it really does some great things, like beautiful animation, just like a really fun story. And my honorable mention is Lilo and Stitch.
Both good.
That's actually one of my least favorite Disney movies.
Treasure Planet or Lilo and Stitch?
Lilo and Stitch.
Sucks.
I
love it.
I know. Like, I understand why people like it, but I just don't like it.
You like what you like, and that's all you can do.
All right, 2003.
2003. Other than the other movie we were talking about from 2002, I would say this is the first blockbuster that I went and saw in the theater and was blown away by, like, oh, it's fucking big, you know. Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
I maintain the best of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, even though 2 and 3 are also really fun. I just have a lot of fun with this movie. I think it's very imaginative, especially for a movie based on a ride, and was pretty generation-defining for the people that went and saw it. That's one of, like, the trademarks of the early 2000s are those movies.
2003, this is, okay, I put Finding Nemo.
Stop! I got something to tell you!
Mine. Which I do think is a really good movie.
Solid pick.
Yeah. This is like the first year that I was like, man, I didn't see anything from this year. Like, I didn't like any of these movies that I saw. But except for Finding Nemo, that one's nice.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I chose Cheaper by the Dozen.
12 kids? I couldn't keep her off me.
Which is like almost like comfort food for me. I actually used to, when I would get like punished and not be allowed to like watch TV before I went to bed or something, I would like replay the movie in my head because I had seen it so many times. Why?
Brittany, do you want to go first on 2004?
Sure. Oh yeah. Okay. So 2004, I have another Adam Sandler movie. I picked 50 First Dates.
Lucy was in a terrible car accident. She lost her short-term memory.
She won't remember him tomorrow.
You and I are actually seeing each other.
Which again, I believe is probably one of my favorite rom-coms like of all time. And it's the second one with him and Drew Barrymore. And it's just a really cute movie. Like, even if you don't like Adam Sandler, it's just like very heartwarming. And yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right. Oliver.
I'm just going to sit back.
At the same time. 3, 2, 1.
Look at you, Peter. Your grades have been declining. You always appear exhausted. I know, I'm trying.
Spider-Man
2, yeah.
That was not at the same time.
Spider-Man 2 is my fourth favorite movie of all time. Which is funny because the next pick is my favorite movie. But Spider-Man 2 is such a great movie, and I put this instead of Spider-Man 1 because although Spider-Man 1 gave me all those feelings about movies and storytelling when I was a little kid, Spider-Man 2 is still a really powerful movie to me. And I think as I get older, the themes become a little bit more like, oh, that's real. That's real life, you know? I don't think there's a movie that exists that better explains the shittiness of, like, I have all these responsibilities and I can't do all of them all at once. And on top of that, it's a really fucking fun blockbuster with fucking Spider-Man in it.
This was a tough year for me, almost, because there's a lot of animated movies in here that are really important to me in my childhood. And I'm not going to name any of them as my honorable mention because I'm only allowed one. I don't want to shaft any of them. So I'm going to shaft them all. But it feels like it feels like a meme within this friend group, but like Spider-Man is really important to me, and I like it. I do that, you know. That's it.
Yeah, that's completely understandable.
I'm very happy for you both on Spider-Man.
Now, hold on, because you just watched the end of Spider-Man 2 the other day.
I thought that was Spider-Man 3.
No, well, that was the other day. But when we were at your mom's house, remember Spider-Man 2 was on, and we watched the entire ending of the movie?
Sure.
I don't know, every time that movie comes on, I just, like, the end is, like, very emotional to me. I feel like you didn't share that same sentiment.
No.
Well.
I didn't. But that's okay.
You gotta give up your dreams of becoming a baker.
We're moving on. 2005.
You guys go first.
Sure. I wrote Sky
Are you planning
High.
on making another cut because you're really going through
the movie is better than the us. Sky High.
He's strong.
I'm strong.
He's super strong.
2005 is the only... Okay, I have looked at all the movies that came out in 2005 so many times. There's only one that I like. So the honorable mention is Batman Begins. But I don't want to put Batman Begins on this list for reasons you'll find out, and now I've just spoiled it. So I had to put Sky High because it's like the only other movie that I was like, yeah, I like that.
Oh.
I couldn't tell you. I saw Sky High when it was out, but I haven't seen it since. I don't know if it was good or if I was just a kid.
I still have all the movies up. I don't feel anything towards like any of these movies, and I haven't seen most of them anyway.
Great.
Brittany?
I chose, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I also had an issue with 2005. I didn't really think it was a strong year for movies, except for like this one, in my opinion. But this is actually my favorite of the series, and I chose Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
This year, Hogwarts will play host to a legendary event, the Triwizard Tournament.
And I know I'd get a lot of flack for it. Oliver's already rolling his eyes at me because it's everybody's least favorite movie, but I love it, so I don't care.
I'm glad that you like it.
Yes.
I don't particularly care for that one because it's my favorite book of the bunch, and I think the movie...
it's not my favorite book of the bunch. It's Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite book.
To me, especially coming off of Prisoner of Azkaban, which is at the time was my favorite Harry movie, Goblet of Fire feels like it's on fast forward because of how fast the scenes are. But
I agree, but it's still a very long movie, so I just don't know like how that could have been done differently.
It's just a shame that later they figured out like, oh, we can split these into 2 parts.
Right, exactly.
You know? But to each their own.
All right, go ahead, Hans. What's your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time came out in 2005. It stars Robert De Niro and Val Kilmer. The movie is called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang by Shane Black.
Look up idiot in the dictionary. You know what you'll find?
Picture me?
No! The definition of the word idiot, which you fucking are.
And it's a fucking fantastic movie that not a lot of people have seen. A lot of really cool filmmaking and a lot of like very witty dialogue. And the plot is just something really cool that I don't want to get into because it's going to be a book club recommendation later on. But Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, favorite movie of all time, 2005.
I just realized that I'm the only one here that doesn't get to talk about my favorite movie of all time because it came out before I was born.
What movie was that, Jeremy?
Oh, that's a list for another day, my friend. Let's move on to 2006.
Episode 30.
Go ahead, 2006.
Jeremy, you want to go first?
We fucked it. We were going in an order, and I fucked it up when I said that Brittany should go before we talked about Spider-Man. I'll go.
Oliver goes first then, if we're going in that order. So go ahead,
The Departed.
Oliver.
Oh, who the fuck are you? I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Great movie, a lot of great actors. The plot still gets me. Every time I watch this movie, there's more details. And actually, last time we watched it, which was only a couple months ago, I found it to be much funnier and wittier than I remember it being. Also, a lot of great Irish stuff in this movie, it being taking place in Providence. And Jack Nicholson is just such a bastard in it. I love it. It's great. And the best Mark Wahlberg line of all time.
Also, The Departed. So engaging. So, like, I like can't look away type of, like, I'm so invested in what's going on. Great movie. Brittany?
10 out of 10.
We're at 2006, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So I have The Devil Wears Prada.
You look so thin. Do I? Just one stomach flew away from my goal weight.
Obviously, it's a good one. And then I had as my honorable mention, She's the Man. Have you ever seen that movie, Jeremy?
I have not.
Yeah, neither has Jeremy. Neither has Oliver. It's a very good movie. It's before Amanda Bynes lost her mind, and it's like one of the first movies that Charming Potato was in. So it's a good one. We should watch it. It's funny. Anyway.
Okay. 2007?
2007 is another really important movie for me. The thing is, like, I know I keep saying, like, this is the best fucking movie ever, and this is the best fucking movie ever, but the thing is, over the 20 years that I've been alive, a lot of the movies that I've seen are new, and especially for the early 2000s, that was when I was really discovering that I like movies and want to make them and write them. So, Superbad.
I am truly jealous you got to suck on those tits when you were a baby.
Yeah, well, at least you got to suck on your dad's dick.
It was one of the first times that I saw a movie that was about fucking nothing. And it was fucking amazing just by the way that they talked to each other and how real it was. You know, it was sensationalized, but in a big way it wasn't. You know, it just was high school kids want to drink and they want to have sex. But it has a lot of heart, and it's one of the funniest movies I maintain to this day to ever be made.
Just to keep the podcast interesting, I guess I'll flip my honorable mention to my favorite just to talk about a different movie. I guess Ratatouille is now the number one for me.
I can't cook, but you can, right? Look, don't be so modest. You're a rat, for Pete's sake.
Similar to the thing I said about The Departed, is like, if this movie is on in a room, I cannot look away and I have to watch it. Wow, I love this movie so much. And the honorable mention is now Superbad.
Yeah, I would say Superbad would be my honorable mention as well. But my 2007 pick is Ocean 13.
I know people who really know how to hurt.
Well, I know all the guys that you'd hire to come after me. They like me better than you.
And I honestly and truly, wholeheartedly believe that Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 13 are both equally as good. And I know that that's like a large claim for like the third movie of a trilogy. A lot of people usually either like that one the most or like that one the least. But I honestly think that they're both right up there, and then 12 is like down here.
And it's interesting too, because I'm not saying me, but a lot of people don't like Ocean's 13.
I don't understand why, because it is just as good. I understand not liking Ocean's 12 and I'm just going to say this I'm going to be quick. I understand not liking Ocean's 12 because they're not robbing a casino. The whole thing is that they were robbing a casino. They're not robbing a casino. They're trying to steal a fucking egg somewhere in France or Italy or something like that. I don't even know. I don't even care. And there's a whole other person in this movie that you absolutely hate. And, like, he's in the movie way more than he should be. And it's dumb. But still, 13 is amazing. Al Pacino is in it. And it's just, he plays such a good villain, like, in that sense. Like, not in the typical, like, mobster sense. But he's, like, a villain just because he's, like, a neurotic, like, casino owner. And I just think that's so fun.
Okay, my 2008 Dark Knight. Jeremy, am I right?
Yeah, it's The Dark Knight.
No name, no other alias. Clothing is custom. Nothing in his pockets but knives and lint.
Evening, Commissioner.
Which is like, I feel like it's such like it's such a pick that's like yeah, I said it and I'm bored of myself for saying it.
Right,
it really is a movie that like I love.
We don't need to sit here and be the guys that tell you, oh, The Dark Knight is a good movie. You know, everybody knows that. That's why it's on the list.
I love this movie so much that I made Sky High my favorite movie from 2005.
So it's obligatory. You have to have it, unfortunately. But also, great movie.
The fact, I mean, I understand that The Dark Knight is a great movie. But the fact that this movie hasn't even been mentioned yet, I don't understand.
Yeah, I also will throw in, this was my honorable mention,
yes.
But because of the Dark Knight conversation, I had to do that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, this is up there as like some of my favorites and one of the most quotable movies of all time.
Agreed. Forgetting Sarah Marshall is the 2008 pick.
Sarah, I swear to God, I'll jump in the lake like a merman.
Do you want to put some clothes on?
Would you like to pick out the outfit that you break up with me in?
That is probably one of the best comedies. Probably one of the best comedies on my list. It's smart. It's funny. Oliver now is obsessed with the Dracula musical. I don't know why now. The movie's been out for 12 years.
Because I had an idea and something's coming.
Great. And, but it's just so funny. I don't really even like Jason Segel, but I think that he does a great job in that movie. What?
Oh, no, sorry. I might have looked like I was raising my hand. That's not what was happening.
It did.
There's like a thing above me. I just was like you hold the thing.
There was a problem.
No, like
I
when
thought you were
hold...
going to tell me, like, hey, fuck you, forgetting commercial's not good.
Like when you just hold the thing and the seat, like in the back seat
I had
of the
my
car.
hand down my pants almost the entire podcast, so trust me, I understand.
Oh,
wait, I have an honorable mention. What?
Okay. No, I did too.
Give your honorable mention, but then I have a Forgetting Sarah Marshall point as well.
My honorable mention was Baby Mama. I love that movie.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were going to say more.
Oh. Yeah, they just recently put it on Netflix also, so I watched it the other day, and it's just funny. I love Amy Poehler, and I like a movie, like a female comedy movie that doesn't, like, and I know this might sound ironic? I don't know how to say it. But that's not just funny because they talk about their vaginas. Like, it's just a funny movie.
Yeah, it's just comedians being funny.
Yeah.
My honorable mention was Wall-E. That's it.
Wall-E's a good one, too. But, yeah, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I also want to say I usually hate movies like this. I don't like the obligatory vacation movie because we got money, so we went on vacation. But this movie has a shit ton of heart, and I think everybody involved really just wanted to make something really nice that was also fucking hilarious as well.
Before we move on to 2009, you know what else came out in 2008?
Spider-Man 3. No, 2007 was Spider-Man 3.
Twilight, which is an important movie to this podcast because we've talked about it many times.
Yes, yeah. Twilight. Notice that it's not on the list for anyone, though.
That's funny.
Guilty pleasure doesn't need to be the best of all time.
No, that's very true. Very, very true. 2009. We're getting there, guys. Come on.
2009 for me is The Hangover.
Congratulations, dude. You got married.
He's wearing my grandmother's Holocaust ring? I didn't know they give out rings at the Holocaust.
I want to say right now, I still regard this as a really excellent comedy that also functions as a really great movie. And I think it would be better remembered if the sequels had not come out, which is unfortunate. But Hangover 1 is really a really great, really original movie that if you haven't seen it somehow, everybody should. And it should be remembered as one of the great comedies because it is.
Also, Hangover. Watched this movie again recently. Quite funny. Very engaging. I really like this movie.
Boy, we're white,
I feel like you just like sounded like my father trying to describe a movie.
We're a couple white guys, aren't we?
What am I supposed to say?
Quite funny.
What am I supposed
Really
to
enjoyable. I
Oliver?
just watched it the other day.
It's way funny.
Oliver said the things already. What am I supposed to say?
All right, I have a different movie.
I have a better thing to say for 2009 that I'm saving, okay?
Okay, fine. 2009, I picked Couples Retreat.
Jason pulled a gun on our therapist.
I'm gonna shoot you in the head.
And force him to say whether or not we were gonna make it.
What would you say? Put that in. I'll holster this.
Have you seen that movie, Jeremy?
Nope.
You have because I
I
made
love
you watch
Couples
it.
Retreat.
Yes.
Minus the Guitar Hero plug, which I could do without, but the rest.
But a great song, Lonely as the Night, still.
Sure.
So you just get a music break.
I don't like product placement, but
Right,
that's all it is.
Agreed. Funny movie. Another ensemble cast. I noticed that like a running theme here is that I have a lot of ensemble casts as like my favorite movies. I think I don't like one person centric films. I think I like a lot of people, especially if they're funny people, because I think it just makes it funnier. Yeah, so I have Couples Retreat. That's a really funny one. And I think a slept on movie. Like when people think of comedies, they don't think of that movie. And then the other one I have as my honorable mention is The Proposal, and that's with Sandy Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. And that's just a delightful movie as well. Very funny. Again, most of my picks are comedies. Fucking no-brainer. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm going to give you each one guess for the podcast important movie that came out in 2009.
Podcast important movie.
The
Did we
movie.
talk about it recently?
Maybe not, but the movie important to this podcast that came out in 2009.
Well, considering that I'm the guy on the podcast, I feel like I should know.
Maybe. Come on, guys, just say one movie that we talk about. We've talked about more than once.
That came out in 2009?
Yeah, all right. This bit is taking too long. It was G-Force.
Oh, fuck! All right, I take it all back. G-Force, #1 movie of every year that I've been alive. Sorry, guys. Wow, you fucking awoken something in me. I forgot about G-Force.
Saw it 20 minutes before we started on the podcast on some list. I was like, I should point that out when we get there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you watched it 20 minutes ago. I was gonna say, how many gerbils does Chuck?
I am waiting for your brother's watch party if I'm invited,
Yes.
which I probably won't be.
No, we're all going to the watch
That's
party.
going to be his graduation party. If everybody just goes over and watches G-Force, and it'll be the G-graduation party.
He's having that fucking party, and we're all going.
I'm joking on my spit. Okay, 2010.
2010. Now we get to the meat of it all. We can talk about these movies.
Can we?
No, what are you talking about? Just keep going.
I was so split on this, but because I was going to say Toy Story 3, but now that's the honorable mention. I love Toy Story 3, and it's strong and one of the most emotionally charged movies that I've ever seen. But Inception is the winner here. I think one of the most original, and if you talk about generation-defining movies, Inception is up there. Everybody saw this goddamn thing, and for good reason, because it's fucking amazing. And we just talked about it not too long ago, so I won't get too into the weeds with it.
Oh, I did do the Toy Story 3 one.
To reset your Buzz Lightyear, insert paperclip.
Rex, use your finger.
Did you fix Buzz?
Bitácora espacial. Sort of.
Oof, that ending gets me every time, and I got it, like, just for that, but also, overall, quite good.
Great Prison Break movie, too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's way funny, man.
2010, I chose Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
What was that all about? If we're gonna date, you may have to defeat my 7 evil exes.
So what you're saying is we are dating?
Because
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, I just looked back at the 2020 list. I didn't even see that.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
All right, Scott Pilgrim is my honorable mention, I guess.
It's a great movie. The musical cues. I mean, I don't like Michael Cera, but this movie makes me tolerate him. So therefore, it must be a good movie.
Because he plays an unlikable guy, so it works. You know.
We almost held hands once, but she got embarrassed. You know.
And again, Edgar Wright. Harkening back to last week, fucking directs the shit out of this because it lives and dies with like somebody who knows their visuals behind the camera.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Great movie. And I had my honorable mention is Tangled, because that's one of my favorite animated films. And it's just a really beautiful and endearing movie. I say the word endearing too much, but that's what I feel. I feel
quite endearing.
It was quite endearing, dearies. Anyway.
2011?
2011. This is a movie that I feel like is slept on only recently. When it came out, it got Oscar buzz. It was generally very well received. I feel like I'm the only guy that talks about this movie, and I always list it as one of my all-time favorites, and maybe that's because it's somewhat personal to me. But 50-50.
We shouldn't have done this. Big mistake. Using your balls trimmers instead of going to a barber.
With Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen. Good movie, slept on. Not much to say. He has cancer, and they get through it, and I like it. It's fun.
I put the Captain America First Avenger movie. This is another weak year for me, but do like Captain America. It's got like one of the best endings in the whole MCU.
Yeah.
That like chilling. Ugh. Good stuff.
Worth the whole movie just for that.
Yeah.
2011, I have another ensemble cast, and it's Bridesmaids.
This is Dougie's sister, Megan.
You must be Annie's fella.
I'm not with him.
I'm glad he's single, because I'm going to climb that like a tree.
Another good pick.
That's just a funny, very good movie. Again, I appreciate when we can have female-driven comedies that aren't just talking about vaginas, and I really feel like that's a hard thing to do now.
It's funny, just as an aside that you say that. I just watched Judd Apatow go through his whole career on GQ, and he was talking about Bridesmaids, and he even said in it, and the reason that works is because he said, I didn't even think about that I was making a all-female movie. I was making a movie about a wedding, and it was about the bridesmaids, so they were female.
Right.
He goes, and only after did it seem like a big deal to everybody, but to us, we just cast a bunch of funny people in the movie.
Right, and they are all very funny. I think every person they pick, with the exception of Ellie Kemper, because I don't think she's funny, was a wonderful choice. And I don't even like Maya Rudolph all that much, but she's not in it all that much, so it's fine.
She fits what they
But she fits what they are. But that's Melissa McCarthy's best role, in my opinion. Kristen Wiig's best role. And even Rose Byrne is just hilarious. And she's not somebody that you would think would be funny, but she's so funny in that movie. And then like the little roles from Chris O'Donnell and Chris O'Dowd. Chris O'Dowd
is the Irish
Chris
guy.
O'Dowd and John Hamm, also good. And then I had my just as a quick aside, I had an honorable mention for Just Go With It, which I also really want. I have so many stupid Adam Sandler movies on my list, and Oliver hates him so much, and I feel bad, but I also
Well, you're allowed to like him. Just because I don't like him doesn't mean you can't say that you like those movies. It's just not for me.
There's just something about his comedy that is very, like, I'm not going to say it, that is very comforting to me and very close to, like, my heart. It just is something that makes me... It makes me laugh.
And contrastly, I hate Adam Sandler, especially when he does comedy so much. But, that's the thing. If you like it, and that's what it's here for, and so that's good.
Yeah.
Jumble Jaw?
Cool. I didn't see that movie, and I haven't seen a lot of Adam Sandler movies, so yeah, checked out half that conversation. Oliver, want to kick us off for 2012?
Yeah, 2012, I've got an honorable mention that I want to say real quick, and this will date me, but this was a movie, Django Unchained was an R-rated movie, and I was a freshman in high school, and my parents didn't want me to go see it, but I went anyway, and then wasn't able to talk about it, and it was very frustrating. Very cool movie, one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies, but it's the honorable mention. 2012, Looper came out, and that's the pick.
We both know how this has to go down. So why don't you do what old men do and die?
Why don't you just take your little gun out between your legs and do it, boy?
One of the coolest sci-fi movies that I've ever seen, and people give it a lot of shit because the ending maybe doesn't hold up if you logic the shit out of the movie. But the ending works for the context of the film, and that's all that matters. I'm not going to go farther in because it's another future book club recommendation.
Cool. So I guess Sound of Noise. Because that was on my top 10 of the decade. So I'll just like pass over that a little bit to say my honorable mention, which is Wreck-It Ralph, which I kind of feel like doesn't go over well with this group. But I don't know. That's I like that movie a lot. Brittany?
I don't like Wreck-It Ralph, but that's fine.
I know.
My 2012 pick is a movie that I don't think Oliver would have ever seen had I not made him. And Jeremy, I know you haven't seen it. This is 40.
You need to get outside more.
You could build a fort.
Do what in the fort?
You need to develop your imagination. You don't need technology.
No technology.
Charlotte, put that down.
What I'm talking about.
We talked about it.
Yes, we talked about it before
Oh, we
on
talked
this
about
show.
it. Okay. Yeah. Because I picked it for my top 10 of the decade because I love this movie so much. Again, it's probably in my top 10 movies of all time. It's another like really smart comedy, and it's technically a sequel to Knocked Up, even though it's really not. I don't really need to say a lot more about it, but just between Leslie Mann and Paul Rudd and how much they hate each other in the movie is very funny. And the kids, who are Judd Apatow's kids, Judd Apatow and Leslie Mann, I don't know if you guys knew, but I know Oliver knows, that they're married. So those are Judd Apatow's kids.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that Judd Apatow and Leslie Mann are married? And those are his kids, Maud Apatow, and I knew
it was Maud. I didn't know he was married to Leslie Mann.
And those are his kids, and they were in Knocked Up as well.
I love Leslie Mann.
Me too. So it's funny because she plays their mother, and she is their mother, and I think that's fun.
That's fun.
Yeah. But I had an honorable mention, which is Jeremy's favorite movie, Pitch Perfect.
Mm-hmm. His
Pitch
main
Perfect?
girl.
Oh, yeah, movie that I've never
Number
seen
one
and I
date.
never will see in my life. Yeah, favorite movie.
It's funny. It's a good movie. They like to sing.
Sorry,
Yeah, like-
not going to see it.
Oh, that's your loss.
All right, 2013.
Okay, 2013, we just talked about it last show, so we don't need to go into it that much, but The World's End.
What do we do? Let's finish our drinks.
Go listen to the last show, and we reviewed the whole thing. So good, man. And, watch it if you haven't.
Yeah, we made these lists a while ago originally, and this was a very, very weak year for me. The top movie of the year was actually a movie that I didn't really like, but I hit a breakthrough with it when I was going over it today, and now it's World End.
Wow.
So there you go.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad that my pick was so well received.
I actually couldn't decide between The Wolf of Wall Street and This Is the End.
I'll
say Wolf is the main choice, and then This Is the End is the honorable mention.
You know what a fugazi is?
Oh, Fugazi. It's a fake.
Yeah, fugazi. It's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust.
It's funny you say that because I would have gone opposite, and those would have been my next two picks.
That's fine, but Wolf is a great movie. Margot Robbie is so fucking hot in that movie, and that's enough to put her on my list. And then This Is the End, another ensemble cast, hilarious. Jonah Hill in both of these movies, so he had a good year that year. Yeah. 2014.
2014.
The
I
year
know what this
Jonah
one's
Hill
going to
made
be.
more money than I'll ever see in my life. All right, 2014. 2014 is a really important movie in my life. I've talked about it before, but Guardians of the Galaxy.
Who are you?
Star-Lord.
Who?
Well, Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
I love everything about the movie, and it's, just the influence that it's had on relationships in my life is very important to me. And, I'm not going to go into it any more than that because I've already done that on this show.
It's my honorable mention.
It's also my honorable mention because for only the reason.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I put the Lego Movie. That's my favorite movie.
Relax, everybody. I'm here.
Batman? Awesome!
The
because
Lego Movie is a great movie.
It is such a good movie, and Brittany's laughing at me because
Do
I
you
like.
remember when you made me go see the Lego 2 movie and how bad it was?
Lego Movie 2 was bad. Lego Movie 1 is a very great and heartfelt movie.
I fell asleep during Lego 2 movie.
Well, that Lego 2 movie?
Yes, Lego 2 movie.
Look, I can like movies that are technically for children because those movies
You're saying I like the movie too.
are. But Brittany laughed at me. These movies, just because they're not aimed at me, they can be really good and still connect with me on a very deep level.
I'm not judging you because it's a Lego movie. I'm just judging the Lego movie itself. I didn't see it. I have no leg to stand on. I just didn't like the second one.
You should see the first one. So much cool pop culture stuff. Such a good message.
Cool. So what year are we on? 2014?
Yeah.
I picked Guardians of the Galaxy was my honorable mention, but I picked 22 Jump Street.
That doesn't sound anything like me.
It's not you. Eric! Close your eyes and tell me who's talking right now!
Schmidt being a little bitch.
I apparently just really like Jonah Hill.
Atrocious. The Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's fine. Whatever. I don't care.
But better than 21 Jump Street.
Agreed. They're very funny together. I hope they make another one, even though it's going to be terrible.
They won't.
I want them to.
See, although as an aside, they were going to do 23 Jump Street in black, and I would have paid so much money to see that versus anything to do with it being 21 Jump Street and Men in Black crossing over.
And the Men in Black International movie was so bad.
Yeah.
So this would have been so
but
much
could
better.
you imagine? And everybody's like, "Well, that's not grounded in the same." I'm like, "There's so much weird shit happened in 22 Jump Street. Would it really have been that much of a stretch for there to be aliens?" And it would have been so funny to see Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill fucking deal with aliens
and realize that aliens are real.
You wouldn't have even had to have Will Smith be in the movie.
No.
It would have carried itself just
He wasn't
fine.
in Men in Black International, so
Could have been great.
Yeah,
Could
so
have
much
been great.
potential. What the fuck, Sony?
2015. No, 2014. What? Yeah,
2015.
2015.
I have to make a revision, but I don't. I'll say it for now because I don't have another movie. But my 2015 pick is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Which, when it came out, was a great movie to me, and I think really showed a great understanding of Star Wars, which is a property that's very important to me. But the more I think about this movie now with The Rise of Skywalker, it's the one case where the sequel has totally ruined it. If you put it on, I wouldn't even want to watch it. Just so much disappointment for me. But for what it was in the theatrical experience that I had with it, my pick is Force Awakens. Otherwise, it's straight out of Compton.
Yeah, I was going to say straight out of Compton.
My pick from 2015 is Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
That was your number one for the decade?
No, Brittany, are you even paying attention? Of course, the number one for the decade is a Spider-Man movie.
I knew that.
My number one movie every time we've made a list so far has been Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. How could you forget?
That's true. I'm sorry. It was up there, though, right? You really like that?
Yeah, it was up there. For an honorable mention, I'm going to pick Blart Mall Cop 2. I have the wrong tab open on my computer. What's happening? I'm going to pick Kingsman Secret Service for my honorable mention.
What tab had Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 written out on it?
I don't know. Jeremy has about 37 tabs open at all times.
Don't worry about it, but it should be noted that did come out in 2015.
Yes, I'm glad that we've noted that.
My pick for 2015 has been a hot button issue in this friend group, not because of the movie, but because of the book. And my pick is The Martian.
This will come as quite a shock to my crewmates, and to NASA, and to the entire world. But I'm still alive. Surprise.
Jeremy doesn't want us to tell that story, so we won't.
I'm not. I just said it was a hot button issue.
Someday in the future, we can have a whole episode dedicated to me telling that story for a long time.
Great.
Excellent.
It's my favorite book.
That's You want to talk about a movie like we did with Joker, where like one person carries the whole thing? I know everybody knows Matt Damon's a good actor. I'm not reinventing the wheel by saying this, but wow, Matt Damon's a fucking good actor.
Yep.
Fucking so engaging for just a movie, not only about somebody not seeing any other people, but somebody being literally in the middle of nowhere with no surroundings.
Yep.
And still so great.
Yeah. Just got to throw my hat in the ring here and say Martian is my favorite book of all time. Fantastic. Love it. Never gonna move again.
Can I borrow it?
No, thank you. I love that book.
Great. 2016. We're almost there.
2016, here's a movie that I saw with you right before we started dating, from the director of my favorite movie, and that is The Nice Guys.
Before we go solving the crime of the century, let's deal with the rotting corpse. I got a plan.
With Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. This is such a fun movie, man. And everything about it, I have very fond memories of this movie and seeing it. We saw it with Gabby and Jason.
Right.
I would like to... Brittany, can you go first? I'm making last-minute revisions.
Yeah, I have. My main pick is Moana.
A boat! A boat!
Because that's just a fabulous movie, and the music is great, and it's very easily rewatchable, which is good quality in movies for me. And then I had an honorable mention, which another slept-on movie, which makes no fucking sense. The Edge of 17. That is a great movie, and Haley Steinfeld and Woody Harrelson are both fabulous in that movie. And it's a very good coming of age tale, and I feel like it doesn't get enough credit, and it's really good.
Yeah, and Woody Harrelson just.
Have you seen that movie, Jeremy?
I have not, no.
It's on Netflix. You should watch it. It's very, very good.
I'd love to keep a counter of every time you've asked me if I've seen a movie and I said yes, and it would probably be at 0 for majority of the podcasts that we've made.
Yeah, well, that's your fault.
Yeah.
That's studying.
Just take mine and Oliver's lists and just start watching these movies.
Yeah, that's that's the point. But it comes down to it for me. That's like the point of doing this.
I'll throw in, I've seen every movie mentioned so far.
Oh, that's about to change, motherfucker.
Oh, no, not everyone.
What didn't you see?
She's the Man.
Yep, there you go.
I haven't seen that.
Never mind. I had a real good... Well,
Jeremy, what's the movie I haven't seen? You go next for 2017.
Well, the number one
2016.
is...
Sorry, 2016.
The number one is not one that you haven't seen. I feel so weakly about the movie I put on that I'm still looking at the list for 2017? No, 2016. You got me confused, Oliver.
We're on 2016.
Sorry,
you made me
I'm
go
sorry.
first. You confused yourself.
Yeah.
You made me go first.
No, I confused it because Oliver just said the words 2017.
Okay, well, I'm saying
mistake.
2016. Go.
I feel so weakly about what I picked that I'm still looking at the list for 2016 right now. I think I'm going to put it to Doctor Strange.
What's this, my monitor? It's the Wi-Fi password. We're not savages.
Good movie.
Yeah, and my honorable mention is Your Name, which I know it's anime.
It's called Your Name?
It's called Your Name. It's actually very good. And it's not an anime podcast, so I'm not going to keep going.
Great.
I'm not going to embarrass myself.
2017.
Okay, so 2017, this is almost a dead tie for me, so I gotta, and this is why Guardians of the Galaxy was up a little. I'm gonna say Baby Driver, but that changes day by day.
I said Michael Myers. This is Mike Myers. It should be the Halloween mask. This is a Halloween mask. No, the killer dude from Halloween. Oh, you mean Jason?
With my honorable mention, because Guardians of the Galaxy 2, if you may or may not know, is a very powerful movie for me that I cannot get through the movie without crying. And I know dad stuff and all that other stuff that does that to people, but it's also a really fun comic book movie. But Baby Driver is one of the most imaginative action movies that there is, and that's equally as good. So I'm going to say the pick is Baby Driver, but with the asterisk of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 will always be near and dear to my heart.
This is a tough year. This year has 3 of my top 10 movies of the decade on it, so it's very tough to be It's very tough, especially now because we're only allowing 1 honorable mention. But I'm like, who am I supposed to leave out of this party? So I'm gonna say Guardians 2.
I am Groot. No, that's the button that will kill everyone. Try again.
I am Groot.
Mm-hmm.
I am Groot.
Uh-huh.
I am Groot.
No!
Honorable mention, Big Sick.
I'm also saying Guardians too, so there we go.
Yeah.
I can leave out Baby Driver because Oliver already mentioned it by name.
Right. 2018.
So this is where it gets interesting because we've actually already made like lists declaring our favorite.
I was going to say
movies.
this is where it gets redundant because we've talked about these movies.
Things might have changed.
You might have seen movies that we missed from these years too. So let's get started.
Unfortunately, my pick is exactly the same, and that is Isle of Dogs.
The Isle of Dogs.
I don't think I can stomach any more of this garbage.
Exactly.
Same here.
Words out of my mouth.
Which was so close to being a tie with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And to be fair, I've seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse more times and been driven to watch it more. But I think the artistry behind Isle of Dogs is often overlooked. And I think I got to throw Wes Anderson on here. So Isle of Dogs, such a great, imaginative, different take on a movie. And, technically a science fiction dystopia movie, but told with dogs. Great idea.
Claymation.
So charming. What a great movie.
So is Spider-Verse your honorable mention then?
Yeah.
And it's my number 1.
Officer, I love you.
Wait, what?
Of 18. And I will spare Brittany having to hear me talk about it.
But he has talked about it in literally every other list that's ever been made on the channel. Go watch them, please. Thanks.
Is it my turn?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure. 2018, I actually flip-flopped between what my number 1 movie is and my honorable mention. So for 2018, I put my number 1 movie as A Star is Born.
Your nose is beautiful. Are you showing me your nose right now?
Yeah.
You don't have to show it to me. I've been looking at it all night.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I'm
You
going to
know
be
you're
thinking
not.
about your nose for a very
You're
long
full of
time.
shit.
I'm not full of shit.
Yeah,
I'm
you
telling
are.
you the truth.
Yeah, you're full of shit.
Can I touch your nose?
Oh, my gosh.
My honorable mention is Mamma Mia 2. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. And I was explaining this to my friend Marco. He's been on our podcast earlier because we both love Mamma Mia 2, and I put it as my number 1 on our top 10 of 2018. But I chose A Star is Born because I just think in terms of how a movie that A Star is Born is just better. And we're talking about the best movies of those years.
Yep.
So I believe that my top movie then would be A Star is Born with an honorable mention of Mamma Mia 2.
And there are very few holes you can poke in Star is Born is a very well-made movie. There's very
Especially
few
for the
flaws.
4th time that they're remaking it.
And I think the 4th was the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tough thing about 2018, which, I mean, I had already done all the hard work when we did the top 10, but, like, so many, I love so many of the movies from 2018 that we did in that top 10 list. But Spider-Man, like, close second favorite of all time, so, gotta.
Spider-Man is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. JP Spider-Man.
2019, I am going to go ahead and say I'm going to make a full video essay about this movie because I think there's not enough discussion about it.
Agreed.
But The Beach Bum is the best movie of 2019.
It all stops now. The foolishness.
You gotta publish your novel.
And if you mess this up, it's jail time.
And for me, it is my number 3 favorite movie of all time. And I know that's very, big words for a movie that just came out, but so slept on, but doesn't bog you down because it's so fucking fun. And I think a lot of the audience that went to go see it really missed the point. And I would encourage you to go revisit it because it is really a great movie.
I'm really hoping it's one of those movies that turns around at some point in time, like that people just hear about it somewhere and just start watching it and then realize that it's good and it becomes like a cult classic. That's what they're not widely received, but then they end up everybody likes them. That's also my honorable mention is Beach Bum.
Which is a side note, I'm sorry, just before we move off Beach Bum, just because it made me mad the other day. 'Cause sometimes I look up this movie just to watch scenes, and then I'll stumble into the YouTube comments. When he says the poem about his wife at the end, I get chills every fucking time.
I like get tears in my eyes.
It's so sad, but it's so heartfelt, and it really is a fucking beautiful movie. And you go on YouTube, people like trash it. Like the last big comment I saw about Beach Bum was, well, Moondog's poems felt like they were written by a 14-year-old. It's like, yeah, at the beginning, and then they give you the context, and then you get it.
The whole movie is about that poem.
Right. So good.
That's what poetry is.
I'm going to watch it later.
I'm down with that.
It's good stuff.
Jeremy, 2019?
Yeah, my top one is Jojo Rabbit. Still.
Nothing makes sense anymore. Yeah, I know. It's definitely not a good time to be a Nazi.
Makes me feel so good.
I chose Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Anybody order fried sauerkraut?
I don't need to talk about it again because I've talked about it so many times at this point, but another Leo movie on my list. And then I had Beach Bum as an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this?
And then we get to...
A late edition, the year 2020. Well, all the movies haven't come out yet, but we can say our piece of what's happened so far.
We're halfway through the year, so...
And we've probably seen most of the movies.
Yep.
And to be honest, the way things are going, I know the movies are going to open back up, but I don't think it's going to be that... I think it's going to be kind of short-lived, to tell you the truth, and I don't know how many are really going to come out this year. So, as of this time in June... of the new movies that have come out, and I've included Netflix releases, documentaries, and what have you, and keep in mind I'm still hoping to see King of Staten Island soon whenever they release the DVD. But my number one pick for what I've seen in 2020 is Onward.
Ah, he's just legs!
Hey. I really had fun with it. Not the best Pixar movie, but far from the worst, and I think people tore into it because it wasn't the best. And I quite like this movie a lot.
We're staring at the artwork right now.
Yep.
So
I have Onward as well as an honorable mention. Sorry, go ahead.
I just need to clarify real quick. Back in 2019, we talked about this movie a considerable amount. We counted 1917 as 2020 or 2019.
Okay. 2020 because I put it as 2020.
Now
The whole thing's coming down! Come on! I can't see! Trust me!
Wow.
Okay, if you guys want to make that stipulation, then my pick is Parasite. So
you were one of the biggest ones of saying that, first of all.
No, that's not.
For the
thing
list,
is, no, the reasoning for it is that it was not widely released. We could not go see it in the theater in 2019. We were only able to see it in the theater in 2020. It came out in January of 2020.
I think you're still allowed to pick on 2019, but that's all right. All right, so you guys picked 1917. If we can pick movies that I only had access to in 2020, then I would say Parasite, because we did not have access to see Parasite before that.
We didn't?
We did not. It was not in any theater here. It may have come out, but it did not come out near us.
I know people that saw it, so it might have come out near us.
Well, anyways, my pick is Onward. I stand with it, even though Parasite is better.
If I can't pick 1917, also Onward. If I can't pick
it came out in the United States October 5th. So it's not even like it was December 5th, and then you could have said, okay, it didn't get to us. October 5th.
Parasite, best movie of the year, 2 years in a row. This year and next year.
Anyway. Well, that was 70-something movies.
Wait, what was yours again?
I said 1917 as well.
Okay, cool.
And then
I just looked up 1917 release date, and it does say January 10th, 2020. You, when we were making the list for 2019,
That's
you were
different.
The biggest person that was like, we couldn't...
I'll tell you why it's
We
different.
couldn't have seen it, so it counts for 20.
I'll tell you why it's different. Making a list of movies that came out in 2020 and making a list of movies that came out in 2019 offers no overlap. So you can't go backwards and retroactively put it on 2019, so it must be considered for 2020. This list, you get to consider all movies of 2019 and all movies of 2020.
But I didn't really like anything from 2020. And this basically came out in 2020. So why can't I just say
if that's the case, then 1917 is my pick as well. It would go 1917 Onward, Bad Boys 3.
I'm gonna throw Trolls 2 World Tour in there.
Stop making a whole list. We're gonna that
Hopefully
comes
we
at the end of the year.
Because it was the only movie we saw in like a 4-month period.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and throw Tenet as my number one. I haven't seen it yet, but
I agree.
You guys have switched closenesses to the mic, and I just need to.
Sorry, I agree. Get away from me.
We also saw such amazing hits in 2020, like Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island.
We was so
God,
bad.
remember how the twist was that the main character was the bad guy?
Oh,
For that to be the case?
John Leguizamo was the villain in what movie? I still need to figure this out.
Michael Pena was the villain in Fantasy Island.
You know what, Brittany? I agree. I know I brought it up, but I don't want to talk about Fantasy Island either.
Yeah, no.
So that, I guess, is our time.
I suppose so. I'm sure this went well over time. Thank you for watching this. If you like lists, then catch us in 10 episodes. We'll be making a list about something else. And
that's where we are.
That's what I got. Plugs really fast. The charity event that I have been hyping from the inception of its creation is happening this Friday. So if you're watching this, it has already happened, but you can still go watch the stream. It is archived, and you still can donate to the cause. It is a live band stream for a local Long Island band. I'm doing it with VooDooWaterTV, who organized the whole thing. It's really his event. And it's a really great cause. We're getting restaurants and bars on Long Island that have obviously missed a whole year of business and throwing some money at them so that when the time is right, they can reopen their doors. I think that's a really good cause. Also, several guests coming to the show very soon that I can't unveil, but stay tuned for that. And we should, at the time that this is going up, have a new sketch that has now been 3 years in the making going up as well. If it's up, I'll leave the link, but I think it's probably going to come out the following week.
Don't make promises like that.
I'm doing it this time, Jeremy.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm not. I don't know.
Literally haven't even filmed all the footage for it, but okay.
Also, furthermore, this podcast, if you noticed while you were listening to it, super easy to listen to because it's available on YouTube in a video format.
There you go.
But also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, PodRocket, and more. Just as audio, if that's what you're into. That's all I got.
Yeah, it seems like any of us have got.
I like making lists.
I like making lists too.
I like making lists.
I want to do a bad movie list.
Maybe at 30.
What is it? We could talk about that later.
Hey, Jeremy. If you were going to end the podcast.
I have to finish this podcast because I have to go watch another fucking hour and 45 minutes of Hamilton, which I'm not really enjoying all that much, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack for that. It's only okay.
We'll talk about it
anyway.
Good riddance to you.
Good riddance.
Good riddance to you.
Oh.